would you like to give us an opening statement?
Yes, I would believe you'd like to know about a little bit of my background.
Just tell us who you are and what you're running for. Your
Okay.
background.
Gary Schimmels, and I've been on the council since day one, started in 2003. I've lived in the valley all my life, basically. I have a lot of family and relatives and business associates and so forth here in the valley. What set my thoughts about the council was I saw people that I thought I could improve on, so I ran for office. And here I am after the 10th year back out for election again. So I'm the last original council person, which is neither here nor there. But I'm very familiar with the city and so forth, and I want to add to that.
Okay. Your first question. What is the role of government in society?
Basically, very up front would be public safety. We take over, for instance, we formed that city 10 years ago, and there was a lot of dissension with the county, if you would. But more government is not always the best, and sometimes that you can improve on it. We think we've improved on it, and we're pretty well covered. We've changed a lot of things that was native to the county. Specific to the county would be a better word. I believe that we could probably get a B plus possibly for what we've done with the city.
What do you wish to accomplish if elected?
Basically, a continuation of our financial situation and maintain our staff levels, our requirements that we have with the state. And of course, the federal steps in also, but I don't think that we're off the peg very far. We do what we're supposed to do. We have money in the bank. We have a very good police force. We have some very good staff. I will stand behind that staff very well. It isn't something that you just write down and go to bed and sleep on. It's just something that's a chore that's in progress all the time. And you don't let your guard down when you're in the city. But I believe that we are very capable there, and I will be also.
Okay. How do you feel about?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about growth management?
We have growth management in Washington, and I believe the only other state in the United States is in Florida. Sometimes we have a love-hate relationship with it, but I don't think it's bad. I can look around some of the different states, a couple of our neighbors. I don't see that we have the well, let me say this. I think they have different conditions as far as land use, housing use, and I think we're a little more refined because of the growth management. And it's well, somewhat of an expensive with our staff, our time, therefore, the processes. But I believe in the end it is reasonable, it's good. The bottom line is we have it.
Okay. Who do you most admire in politics, living or historical, and why?
Well, I could go way back to Abraham Lincoln, and if you'd like to come forth a few more years, possibly Franklin Roosevelt, and I would stick a very good feather in the hat of Harry Truman. And since that time, I think we have a big mix and presidential personalities and what has happened, but the world's also changed drastically since those people were around. I have a birthmate somewhat with George W. Bush, young George. We both have a birthday on the same day, so. But I look at him to a point, and he's a friend of mine, if you would.
Okay.
That's,
Okay. What are your top 3 to 5 favorite books?
as I said, I read about the Ford factory, Henry Ford, and the Model Ts, and I knew all their mechanical specifications. I couldn't sit here and tell you everything, but if I need to know something, I know where to find it. I have it in my yard. I haven't read a book in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, other than something that was tied to the council. I read all the newspapers and the periodicals to a point, but I just kind of set that aside, and it's time consuming, and I have enough other things that I still can't do. So that's my decision, is just to stay out of the books for now.
Okay. As a voter, what question would you ask yourself and how would you answer it?
I think the most important thing, and I believe a lot of people do not gauge this very well, is how much time can you afford with that position. You have committees, you have meetings, you have public, for instance, new business openings. I mean, it's just countless, you know. The churches per se are after us in their different meetings. It's a pretty cross sample, the Chamber of Commerce, but you know, we're pulled in all the directions from the state line clear to Fairchild, if you would, with common ground with the different entities. So I think that's probably the first thing that someone has to answer to themselves.
Okay. Would you like to take a minute for a closing statement?
Well, I will tell you this, I enjoy the council, and I finally, after a few years, understand why we do this, why we don't do that. In other words, you know, that's pretty well institutionalized, and you can't vary too far from the law that we have, that we don't write that law, we observe it and we follow it. I would say that we have the luxury of a good bunch of people in the valley, and that helps the whole situation in that regard also. I don't know what else I could say to you.
Okay, that's okay. Well, thank you for your time and thank you for coming in and answering our questions
Okay.
for us. We appreciate
Like
it.
I say, that's not my perfect, if you want to sit here